Hello, folks. Um, no intro video today. Um, Feeling very lazy and not at all put together, so no intro video, and that was really weird to push that go live button without having an intro video play. It's like, wait, what do I do? So, hello to Rick. Rick, it's been a lot. Rick and I haven't talked for quite some time. It seems like so.
About 3
It's
weeks.
Yeah, that's a long time. In fact, well, for a verbal conversation, I think the last time we spoke was after the last live stream. So
Yep.
yeah. So all right. Well, we're here just kind of like the thumbnail says, a last minute live stream. And um, Sharia won't be able to go join us. She is very overworked with her cases, and so she's buckled down and just working her ass off because that's what she does. Um, so anyway, like I mentioned, I think in the description, it's not really a conversation really having much to do at all with Daniel. Um, but I will start out with a message, a short message that I got from Jenny, Daniel's sister, a week or so ago. And no, I hate saying it, but it's pretty much just we're the same. It's the situation is the same as it's been for a while, and she mentioned on her Facebook page somebody, I can't remember if it was the last message last week or if it was the most recent one, but at any rate, I think it was the one that she had posted last week or so. She did mention, somebody asked, where Daniel's case stands right now, and she said they're currently working on his post-conviction relief case, and then it just said, stay tuned. So pretty much where it's at. And during this time, working on post-conviction, as Rick will tell you, uh, there's really not a lot said publicly, and I don't mean that because they're trying to be secretive or sneaky, but everything just has to be very focused, and there can't be any outside distractions or things like that. So they're working on post conviction. I know I've said that quite a bit in the last couple of years, but you know, from what I gather from Jenny's post, it looks like, it's pretty um, sincere, dedicated work going on. And the stay tuned at the end was kind of like, ooh, a little, like, gives you a little anticipation. So anyway, Rick,
It takes
go
a
ahead.
lot of time to put one of those together.
Yeah. Yeah. So that it's taken 2 years doesn't seem like, well, I shouldn't say it's taken 2 years. I honestly don't know how long it's been going on, but it definitely does take a lot of time to put it together. And so, when you think about, but yeah, there's a ton that goes into it. It's basically I don't know for sure, but kind of like, um, uh, kind of like having to go through the entire case again, not to present it, but, to go through and, get all of the most important, relevant facts and information that you want to present. So it does take a ton of work. So, and for one attorney to do it is even more so, particularly with Daniel's case, because that's just my opinion, particularly in Daniel's case. But since to me it's like 13 cases or 13 trials in one. That's a lot to go through. So, excuse me.
Yeah, if Sheree was here, she could confirm it, but on average in the United States, just to prepare the case takes anywhere from 24 to 44 months.
Yeah, sure. With a, well, I don't want to say with a normal trial, but that's just with an average, I would assume, an average case or average trial. And I just, like I keep saying, I just have to times that by at least 10 when it comes to Daniel. So, but he's well. I mean, he's doing well. He's, not, nothing's, health is good as it can be in his situation, I suppose. And, he's just not counting, but still so appreciative of everyone's support here on our channel, and certainly everybody, in any media that you think of. He's very, very appreciative of all the support. And, the waiting for him is hard enough for us. I can't imagine what the anticipation for him must be like. So, but thank you guys all for being here last minute. I really appreciate it. I'm going to go through and say hello to everyone. Sheila, hello, my dear. It's great to see you. I still want to hug your doggy. Raphael, hey, it's great to see you. Thanks for being here this afternoon. Chef is a very long time supporter of Daniel's, and I hadn't seen or heard from Shaz for probably over a year, and she can make bigger comments in the chat if she would like to, but I had wondered where she's been and how she's doing. She lives in the land down under, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's where it is. And so she had been away for quite a while. However, I don't know. I don't remember the exact reason that she gave me, unless it popped up on her. I'm not really sure, but she jumped on and found the 2 episodes that we did rebutting the Annie Elise video. And well, first let me preface and say, and I'll let her go into detail if she wants to, but she quit watching, not because she stopped supporting Daniel, but because just every time we would, read a new, trial transcript or whatever we were talking about, it's just infuriating to her. And, as it is to all of us. And, it's just her hopelessness and helplessness feelings. Just, she did what was best for her, and she took a break and got away for a while. But when she saw the Annie Elise stuff, she became quite enraged again. And if you go back and look at those videos in the comment section, you can see what Shaz had, what her reactions were, and get a feel for how she was feeling, kind of coming back. So yeah, but we miss Shaz. I'm glad. I'm so happy that you're here, and that hopefully you're back. We've got a bigger project that we're trying to figure out how to start coming. So hopefully you'll be able to join us when we do begin that. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in a second after I say hello to everyone. Yes, hopefully soon. I'm guessing you mean for the post-conviction, hopefully for a new trial or evidentiary hearing or something. I don't really know what the plan is, but so we'll see. We'll stay tuned, as Jenny has advised. Joffrey, hey, thank you for being here. I appreciate you being here at this last minute, late hour for yourself. And Laurel Sharp, hey, it's great to see you. Thank you for being here with us this afternoon, or this evening, I guess it is. I appreciate you being here and for your support. With any normal case, right? There's nothing normal about Daniel's case.
No, there's not.
Yeah. um, now, excuse me, which kind of leads me to, speaking of abnormal or bizarre, strange, twisty cases. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about this, but as I mentioned in my community post, I do want to do a um, more in-depth stream talking about the Karen Reed trial that finally just ended, her second trial. And I was just chatting really briefly with Rick before we went live. You know, we can definitely have more of a conversation about that trial and that outcome here this afternoon, if if anybody's inclined. So I don't know if everyone in the chat or everyone watching is familiar with the case. I'm shocked actually at how many people I've seen or heard from who aren't familiar with the case, and they're like, Karen, who? It's like, I'm like thumping my head, like, what are you? But most people have a life. I don't so much. um, so yes, I know, Raph. It's been I ventured out into the Twixter hell um, uh, a couple of times that last couple of days, and man, the way they're going after juror number 11, her name is Paula Prado, I think. She's a Brazilian, um, from Brazil, and she's an American citizen. She practices law in Brazil, or able to, or has her law degree in Brazil. But she was to me very, very genuine in every word that she spoke, um, and very intelligent and very logical, and definitely understood the what the jury was supposed to do, what was expected of them. And it sounds to me like they all took it very seriously, and they really did pay attention to everything that was, well, yeah, I mean, I shouldn't say well, but anyway, she's been very insightful and very forthcoming with what everybody, the conclusions that everybody came to on the jury. So
there was a male juror that I don't know what number he was. I want to say number 7, but I wouldn't swear to it, that also did an interview with a local station that
okay.
gave some decent information about what happened.
Yeah, I know there's a few who have spoken out. I haven't seen, trying to think, I don't know that I've seen any others. I know that the jury foreman spoke out, and I believe all I ever saw from him was I don't know if it was from Jess Machado or who, but there was a article written, I think is all I saw, where questions were asked and he answered the questions. But I haven't seen him, I haven't seen very much from him or from any other, because I had to, by mid-morning yesterday, I had to cut off. I was like, nope, I can't. I was starting to, not like being disrespectful or rude or ignorant or anything on Twitter, but I was starting to comment on the haters Twitter posts and stuff, because I just was so, they just don't make any sense to me. So I don't understand the vitriol and the hatred of from some of these people who are John DePietro, whatever his weird name is. I shouldn't say weird, but whatever his name is, just like claims to be a journalist, yet he's so full of so much hatred and vitriol and denying the verdict and just accusing the jury and accusing Paula, juror number 11. I just don't understand. I get it when a verdict doesn't go the way you hope it to go, you're gonna be upset about it for a minute. You're gonna probably, depending on the popularity of it, go to Twitter, I guess, or Facebook, or wherever you go, and and you're gonna say things, but you're gonna vent. You're gonna get some frustrations out. But that, oh my goodness, I've never seen anything quite so hateful. And so I'm like, nope, I need to be done. I need to stop watching videos. I need to stop watching interviews. I need to just get out of it altogether, because then I just start feeling angry and wanting to start saying inappropriate things to, other people making posts or comments on Twitter. I will say, though, that I'm not good with assigning percentages or anything like that, but I would say 98% of the comments that I read were in favor of the verdict, that the free Karen Reed thing, I guess. But man, that other 2% were just so hateful. I just thought, man, I almost feel sorry for them because they're just so.
If you followed the trial and actually listened to the testimony and looked at the evidence that was presented.
Yeah. What else can you think? Yeah.
My favorite one was that little lady doctor. When what's the name of the prosecutor?
Oh, Hank Brennan.
Brennan said good afternoon, and her immediate response was, "It won't be afternoon for 6 more minutes."
That had to be Dr. Lapisato.
I'm like, this guy is out of his league and has no clue what he is about to walk into.
Yeah, Dr. Lapisato was freaking amazing. She was amazing. Oh gosh, yeah. She just was like, she had I don't know, I can't describe her. Her attitude was like, look, fucker, I'm just here to answer the questions truthfully, and if you don't like my answers, piss off. She just was like, yeah, she just wasn't, pulling. She had a very different demeanor than Dr. Russell did. And I love Dr. Russell as well. But their personalities were very different in that way. So
but I literally had to get out my spare keyboard, because as soon as she said that, I spit coffee all over my main keyboard. I shot it right out my nose, and I'm like,
it won't be. Yeah, you're like, oh, here we go. This is going to be a firecracker. Yeah, that's funny, Rick. Because I was thinking, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? I didn't know what was going to go on, and I was just like, what is? Then the more she spoke, the more I was like,
just that one statement. It's not going to be afternoon for 6 more minutes. What she did, in no uncertain terms, told the jury, every piece of information I give you in my testimony is going to be precise.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah. She could have said nothing, or she could have said a couple more minutes or 5 more minutes, but she was very precise, like you said, Rick, 6 minutes. So yeah, it was good. It was great. I can't remember. Sheila says, I'm a little familiar with the case. I didn't follow it until this trial, so there's lots of information I don't know. Yeah, There's a lot you don't know. So much. I mean, I don't know if you've gone back and watched any of the first trial testimony or not. And I don't have a link handy, or I would drop it in the chat. But there's a YouTube channel. I think it's called the Trial Channel. I think that's what it's called. I never can
Larry
remember.
Foreman. What's
Oh,
Larry's
he's
channel's
DUI
name?
guy. Yeah,
DUI
DUI guy.
If you go and look at his videos during the second trial, he did a lot of side-by-side compare and contrast of what witnesses said in the first trial as opposed to what they said in the second trial.
Yeah, he
And
did.
it was actually very fascinating. What's that little diva cop's name? The girl with the long black hair.
Got to make sure we say it right. Dever.
Yeah.
Dever.
I mean, you watch the testimony he shows from the first trial from her and the second trial, and you can't help but sit and go, okay, I don't understand. Did she get stung by 100 bees? Did she get hit with a 2x4? What happened?
Yeah. I haven't watched that episode yet, though. And now that you mention it, with DUI guy. Yeah, Larry did a good job with, that side by side stuff where he could, because not everybody who testified in the first trial actually was called to testify in the second trial, which, was the whole thing. Yeah, dirty Proctor. Yeah, if you didn't, who was it, Sheila? If you didn't watch the first trial, but you did watch some of the second trial, you may have heard about former Trooper Proctor, the lead investigator who was fired after the first trial. You need to go back.
He wasn't the lead investigator now.
Oh gosh, you're right.
Remember the testimony from the second trial? No, he wasn't in charge. He wasn't the lead. He was just the supervising officer.
Yes, Mr. Yuri Buchanan. Oh my gosh. It's actually kind of a relief now that we're discussing it a little bit, to kind of just verbally talk about these things. I haven't had verbal conversations about it. It's all been through typing. So, wow, yeah, very. Oh my God, Buchanan was a horrible, horrible witness. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, you couldn't. Yeah. Science proved it. Well, yeah, and well, science, no science. It was really difficult to kind of. Yeah, I definitely, this will just be jumping all around, but the closing argument, Alan Jackson's closing argument, I thought was really, really good, and very effective. So, yeah, it is so great to see you. Thank you for popping in and joining us this afternoon.
The evidence that drove me nuts in that, and I literally about dropped my teeth when I watched it, was the guy whose arm they painted like he was a member of the Blue Man Group and had to stand behind that SUV while they backed into him on purpose.
Dr. Welcher.
I mean, that's. Did you ever hear Bill Engvall talk? The Hear Your Sign, and he's like the guy that invented the shark suit.
Yep.
All right, Jimbo, we want you to put this suit on, and we're going to drop you in the water in a bunch of sharks.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go, Jimbo.
Yeah.
We're going to paint your arm blue and then run into you with an SUV. Just stand right there.
Just stand right there. Yep. Don't move. Well, you can lean into it if you think you need to. Yeah. Insanity. There's so many epic moments that at the time weren't necessarily funny. They were super frustrating to me, but now talking about them out loud with you, Rick, some of that shit's pretty funny. Yeah, Dr. Welcher was a joke. And I don't know who was I think he was even bigger joke than Shannon Burgess. So, my opinion. Oh man.
And I didn't realize it until I started watching the second trial because I'd never watched the first one. But since when do the transcriptionists or the court reporters in a courtroom stand there with that big funnel over their mouth and just repeat everything that's said?
Oh, that's
What
become
happened to the
very,
little machine where you type on it?
yeah, no. It's those, the transcriptors, the audio, those are the most popular way now, or becoming the most popular way. Yeah. Yeah. So,
She looks like she's pre-breathing pure oxygen before, she does a spacewalk or something.
yeah, it is pretty bizarre. Yeah, that's becoming very, I mean, I can't remember a trial I've watched in the last year or so where they've actually been
If you're
typing.
going to do an audio transcript, how hard is it to pay somebody $15 an hour to sit in the courtroom and hit record,
Yeah,
stop?
pause,
We have this new
rewind. Yeah,
thing called a digital recording system now.
yeah, yeah. I don't. Well, when they're talking, they're also, from what I understand, they're also speak. That how they type in shorthand. When they're typing, I believe they also dictate verbally in shorthand, if I'm not mistaken, from what I've heard. But I don't know how. I'll have to do some research on that now that you brought that up. But yeah, it's definitely, it looks really interesting to see that.
See,
And
if
even,
I had that job and you did it in anything other than regular words, I'd have to mess with the poor people that have to type it up and, like speak Klingon or something.
just, yeah. Well, no. Whoever's dictating into it is the same one who types. That's the same person that types it out. She just listens back to her own dictation and then types it out. So, but that would be a lot more fun for sure. And Nan's like, yeah, it's ridiculous. If I was a taxpayer in Massachusetts, I would probably there'd be lots of letters written and visits to offices and all kinds of stuff, because that's insanity how much they, just to put on a trial to start with is one thing, but then to pay a somebody who's a prosecutor in his own firm a defense attorney in his own firm to come in and prosecute your case. It seemed very almost obvious to me. Before I knew Hank Brennan was a defense attorney because I guess he has his own law firm. Every time he would start, do a cross examination or whatever it was he was doing, I was thinking, man, he sounds more like a defense attorney than he does a prosecutor, the way he's questioning some of these people.
And I'm willing
then
to bet not a good defense attorney either.
Well, apparently not.
Him
He
being
didn't.
the special prosecutor for this trial was not a good advertisement for his lawyering skills.
Well, and he didn't manage to, get Whitey Bulger off. So, there's that. But yeah. Anyway, I was no fan of Hank Brennan from just even from Motions. I had no respect. I shouldn't say I had no respect. I have respect for the office and the position. I didn't have any respect for him. Just, he just was a horrible person in my opinion. But in that last week or two, he just seemed desperate. When the state got to present their case, he just sounded desperate, like with Dr. Russell and with Dr. Lapasato and anybody else.
The first time I heard him whine about something that he objected to, the image that popped into my brain immediately was Rick Moranis' character in Ghostbusters.
That's funny. Yeah, that's bad. You hear that, Hank Brennan? You got reduced to the mentality of a nerd, a weird nerd. Oh man. Oh gosh. Oh, okay. So you've only watched some of this trial. Oh gosh. Well, listen, I know people have a life, unlike, I mean, I don't really do much at all, but um, so for me to go back and rewatch trial 1 and rewatch trial 2 would be no big deal because, I don't really do much. But that's how good both of these trials were, was like I could, not in a binging way, but I could definitely go back and watch parts of both trials. But listen, Sheila, if I can find it, I'll have to see. I can put it in Discord. But you want to watch Trooper Proctor, Trooper Paul too, though, from the first trial, because Trooper Proctor, former Trooper Proctor, will change your opinion about how foul and disgusting humans can be, because he topped that, in my opinion. So I don't know. I'll see if I can find some of these things and put them in Discord for you to watch. Me or Rick can do that for you. The trial channel, that's what it is. Or the trial channel. Rick, if you're able to find that link to that,
Yeah.
Can you find the link for the trial channel? Because what they've done, they broke down each person's testimony, and it's all in order, but they have taken out all of the sidebars and all of the breaks and all that stuff. So it's just continuously trial testimony, which is really, really nice. So Rick's going to see if he can find that for you. And there's a playlist. There's probably 2 playlists by now for Karen Read, trial 1 and trial 2. But definitely, if you haven't watched the first trial, you definitely want to see Trooper Proctor, Brian Higgins, and Trooper Paul. Oh, Trooper Paul. There's almost like a soft spot for Trooper Paul because anyway, Trooper Paul was a fucking train wreck. So yeah. You need to catch up with Karen Read. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's worth it. To me, it's worth it for sure. But I would strongly recommend, if you can work it out, I would strongly recommend watching the first trial and then the second trial, if you could possibly do that, because there was a lot missing. I mean, if you didn't watch the first trial, but you watched the whole second trial, you didn't know what you were missing, so you didn't feel like you were missing out on anything, except for where the hell is Brian Higgins? Why isn't he testifying? And why isn't this former Trooper Proctor, why isn't he testifying? Those might be your only 2 questions, because they are talked about a little bit, quite a little bit, especially Proctor. But other than that, you don't miss anything. I mean, the jury clearly only saw this trial, and and that was I know that Juror 11 said something like that, about, well, we wondered who is, and the FBI, the whole FBI horseshit. Anyway, so yeah.
Proctor gave a post-acquittal interview too.
Crying.
I'm like, dude, just slide back under your rock and shut your mouth.
Shut your face. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we can talk about it. No problem. We can talk about it, but I definitely want to grab some of those clips and put together some clips and have an even more in-depth conversation in another Proctor the Jerk. Yeah, I guess you could call. So do you know about Trooper Proctor, Sheila? Because I think I have a much stronger word than jerk for Trooper Proctor. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so yeah, it's first time I'm actually verbalizing some of this stuff. It's really weird, but yeah, that I think I don't know who saw the community post I made earlier today, but the reason that the Karen Reed trial, yeah, he is gutter rot. That's a good way to say. That's a good way to define him. Gutter rat, sorry. Yeah, he's just a horrible person. I just have a little information about Proctor. Well, you don't have enough then if you only have a little. Now, there's some interesting things about Trooper Proctor, Buchanan, a couple of the other people from the first trial in particular, investigators. Those of you who are familiar with it's been out there for a couple of years now, I think, but Brian Walsh, who is accused of murdering and apparently dismembering his wife in Massachusetts. A lot of the detectives on Karen Reed's case also are several of the same detectives in the Anna Walsh case. And Catnip, oh my gosh, how are you? I'm so happy to see you in the chat. I love you. We miss you. Great to see you. We're talking about the Karen Reed trials, if you've heard, or whatever. So yeah, but yeah, he was also involved to some degree. I don't know how much. I've tried to find out. It's been a little bit difficult to find any information, but he was involved in the Anna Walsh disappearance / murder, and I believe Buchanan. And then there were other detectives from the first trial that testified in the first trial who are also involved in the Anna Walsh case. And not only that, but the next big thing I think coming up in Massachusetts as far as murder trials is going to be Sandra Birchmore, who I think
so. I think that's the next one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty big deal. So, and again, a lot of the same detectives in that murder case as were in Karen Reed's case. So, excuse me. There's a lot of intertwining of a few different cases. The mixed in characters, I guess you could say, with the Karen Reed trial. Speaking of characters, almost like within hours, if I'm not mistaken, the McAlberts, as they are affectionately known, unaffectionately known, did an interview with that stupid Gutman or whatever his name was from, I think, 2020 or Nightline or something. Anyway, he interviewed them, and with so much bias. At least that's what I took. So much bias, but he interviewed the McAlberts, and at one point, Chris Albert was all the way down on the end of the panel. So when I say McAlberts, I'm talking Matt McCabe, Jen McCabe, and then Brian Albert, Nicole Albert, and then on the other end was Chris Albert. And at some point, Chris Albert said something about they're all outraged at how excuse me. They were all outraged at how the system let them down again, which didn't make sense to me because it just doesn't make sense. None of them were related, first of all, to John O'Keefe. And so what does it what did the system have to do with them? And if they've been let down by the system before, what were the reasons? Because let's just something Chris Albert didn't say out loud was, Eric, that's my son. How are you, buddy? I love you. My family doesn't show up very often, or, they're busy. They're normal people. They're busy, but it's so great to see you, Eric. But it really kind of pissed me off when Chris Albert said that for two reasons. I'll say the first reason is that he said something about being made caricature. We're just caricatures now. Basically, people are just laughing at us and making fun of us, and we're just a bunch of cartoons to them. Yeah, because you did that shit to yourself. You made yourselves caricatures in this whole thing. Was my first thought. So, I know, and I appreciate that so much. You're a sweet son. I have the best kids in the world.
Oh, he's your literal son.
Yeah, he's my literal son. Yeah, he's my number 4 son.
I thought you were just calling him your son. He's
my son.
Eric, yeah. Good to meet you, bud. You got a great mom.
Oh, Rick, that's really sweet. But yeah, so I just was kind of annoyed because they all made caricatures of themselves, as far as I was concerned. And then the other thing about Chris Albert is that, well, when Brian Albert said the system has let us down again, don't forget, Brian Albert, that your younger brother, Chris Albert, sitting down on the end over there, basically got off from a hit and run when he was drunk, I think from 20 some odd years ago, where he was
somewhere
drunk and hit somebody and killed him. And you got off. Your little brother got off on that. So shut up, Brian Albert, because the system didn't let you guys down then. Anyway, so just a couple of things. Oh, yes. Oh, my God, Nan. Yes. Nan says, Brian Albert said, what did everyone want me to do? Run outside in my underwear? He also implied he was just a Boston cop, not a Canton cop. So a dead cop on his property in Canton wasn't his jurisdiction. Yeah, it was infuriating when he said that. Oh, my God. I just was like, are you kidding? It's not about what cop or what jurisdiction you're in. Somebody's on your freaking lawn and you never once even blinked to go out and try to see what was going on your front yard where a man died that you pretty much full well know exactly what happened. He is, oh yes, thank you, Nan's life for remembering that. Yeah, it's just the most ridiculous. That was the most ridiculous thing he could have said that in that interview, I think. I get a little uptight about some of those things. Eric says, good to meet you as well. My mom is amazing and passionate in what she does. Thanks everyone for their support and passion. Oh, Eric, you're such a sweetheart. I don't have any money though, so just kidding. I'm just kidding. Eric drops whatever he's doing if I need help for something. So I was just giving him a hard time. Raph says, yes, Chris Albert is the one who hit and killed someone while drunk in the 90s, and Judge Bev's brother was his attorney. Yeah. And
gee, what a surprise.
Judge Bev is terrible. And I know a lot of attorneys are being careful about, what they're saying about the judge and even other attorneys. And I get it that, they have to do that, but I don't. We don't. We can say whatever we want. That woman is, Aw, you're so sweet. Who
It's
needs money when you
YouTube.
have love?
It's
Huh?
YouTube. It's YouTube. Be careful.
Yeah, yeah, true. Well, I mean, I'm not going to say,
What you're thinking?
violent. Yeah, no, I just think she's a horrible person. She's a horrible judge. She shouldn't be on the bench. She's
No, she
just,
shouldn't.
it just, it's just mind-boggling that she has gotten away with it in both trials. Both trials, she behaved this way. I don't know. I think she was actually worse in this trial.
Oh, she was
Yeah, just,
definitely worse in this trial from what I've heard everybody say.
yeah. Oh, yeah. She just was, well, oh my gosh, the horrible way she talked to Alessi, who I'm in, like attorney love with because he was so amazing. But the way she spoke to him, I think it was him. Oh, it's hard to remember because it was early on in the trial or just before the trial when they were talking about, they had already voir dired Arca again. And so those of you who watched the trial, can you see, especially if it was your, second time watching, you can tell why nobody from the Commonwealth wanted Arca to testify,
Oh,
because
yeah.
there was no comparison.
The ARCA
Go ahead,
people
Rick.
sat up there and went, yeah, the investigators are idiots,
Pretty
basically.
much. Pretty much. Let's see. I want to try to catch these comments. Did you see some of the videos of their behavior? They're disgraceful. Or do you mean the McAlberts? Probably, yeah. I probably did. Nanslite says, I don't know. Here in Canada, when you take an oath, it's your responsibility to respond, no matter what jurisdiction you're in. Well, yeah, it is here too. It is here too, especially if you're a first responder. And if you're, I don't know, it makes no sense to me. I wouldn't be considered a first responder. I am trained in CPR and those things, but you
There are
guys are
certain
so much
states in the United States where I am required by law
by law for, oh
to
yeah,
stop if rescue is not already there
if rescue's needed.
because of my PA license. I'm right, and
Yeah,
New York and Massachusetts happen to be two of them. I'm required by law to stop.
yeah.
In New York, they go so far as putting, or they used to, I'm assuming they still do, they have an emblem that they put on your vehicle that marks you as a medical professional.
Oh,
And you can
identifies you.
actually get arrested if you don't stop.
Listen, I think if you take on that responsibility and training, I feel like you kind of have a duty to do it. So I
always stop. Always.
I've only ever been in a situation, I think once, where I watched a car roll from the fast lane going northbound on I-15 in Utah County, and I think it's a 10-lane highway, if I'm not mistaken. 10 or 8 for sure, definitely 8. But anyway, I watched a car. I was in the slow lane, because I was going to be getting off the freeway in a couple of exits, and a car from the fast lane, the HOV lane, literally rolled in front of us. I don't even know how many times this car rolled in front of us, and then just kind of came to rest on the side of the side there. Is just not a mountain or even really a little hill, but it's a little incline. And it got about halfway up that little incline and then just stopped on its wheels. It was bizarre. It was so crazy. And I was just like, it was just shocking to watch that happening before my eyes. But anyway, I was I think I was like the second or third person who stopped, but I stopped closer to the car than any of the others did. And literally, I'm not lying to you when I say I had just came out of CPR training that day in my job that I was at that time. Just finished CPR training, and I'm thinking, and I got to her first, and I was just like, oh, first of all, just genuinely thank God she was awake and talking, and somehow I don't know how she wasn't dead, to be honest with you. But so I was thinking, oh, thank God, because I just finished the training and got signed off on it. And I was like, as I'm getting out of the car, I'm thinking, oh my God, I hope that all of that it's so fresh that I've got to be, if I need to help her, I can help her. But it was scary. It was so scary. But anyway, so, but I just think that I feel like if you're taking taking on the responsibility of getting the training, I think you should help when you come up
Yeah.
on something.
Well, and
Oh,
I've always, well, first of all, it's the ethical thing to do.
right.
But one of the things that I always tell people is, beyond the fact that it's ethical, all my medical training got paid for by the taxpayers of this country when I was in the Army. All I'm
Ah,
doing is giving back to the people that paid for my education.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
only
that
have
makes
it
sense.
because of them.
That's what every American should be feeling like and talking like. Yeah, that's really awesome, Rick. Yeah, I mean, well, and yeah, but Brian Albert, he could not be bothered.
Hmm.
That was just a horrible, horrible look for him to say that. I
Just out of
just,
curiosity, did the interviewer bother to ask any of them where Chloe was at?
I don't know, but they did. Oh, no, that he didn't ask them directly, but he did mention it. He did say, because they showed a picture of Chloe. I think it was the first picture of Chloe, at least that I ever saw. But there was a picture of Chloe, and he said something. He asked about where Chloe, about, oh, they were talking about the dog bite or whatever the interviewer was. And then Matt McCabe, of all people, was the first one. He doesn't live there, but he was the first one to say they've known for years where Chloe is. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking? Pipe down over there, buddy. Pipe down over there, Chubbs. Which I have no right to say because I'm chubby, but I've always been chubby for years. I know I'm chubby. I don't go out and pretend like I'm, drinking my drinks with Crystal Light, and I'm just, because I'm trying to lose weight or I'm up. Put on a couple of lying pounds there, did you, Mr. McCabe? Anyway, um, but he's just like they've known where the defense has known where Chloe was for 2 years or 3 years, whatever he said.
Not
Well,
according to the defense.
not according to the defense, and also not according to, well, yeah, I guess I was going to say not according to Buchanan, but um, yeah, they didn't know from what we know from the defense. They didn't know, they knew Chloe was rehomed.
Well,
I think
that's
it's
what they were told.
what they were told exactly. And then I don't know,
I
man.
don't,
Buchanan's
to be
test,
honest with you, I don't think Chloe exists anymore. For anybody that doesn't know, Chloe was the dog.
yeah, I keep saying the
I
McAlberts.
don't think Chloe exists anymore.
I don't think so either.
I think Chloe was put down.
I think that, well, I think she did make it to Vermont. I think, I don't know now. Now I have questions, but uh, I think that, when Buchanan testified that now the dog's name is, what was the dog's name? New name? They renamed a 7-year-old German Shepherd, according to Buchanan. What did he name? What did he say they
No.
named her? He said they named it. It also started
Major, and
with a C.
she was living at the White
Cora.
House.
Cora. According to Buchanan, the vet who treated Chloe as soon as Chloe was handed over to the woman in Vermont the vet ended up with Chloe and then changed Chloe's name to Cora. And she was 7 years old, allegedly.
I'm
Changed her
I'm
name because I don't
telling
believe.
you, her name got changed to Major, and she was living at the White House.
Oh, hi, Cherie. Cherie says Cora. Yeah. I think that Cora has always been who Cora is. I do not believe, I agree. There's no way that Chloe survived very much past that first year that John was killed. So, yeah. And I wanted to say, let's see. I want to go back up here to, I think I put it on the screen, but I wanted to, yeah. Love the ham sandwich arca guy, Dr. Rentschler. Yeah. Man, he was about done with Hanky by the end of that day. It was just, I know, and I know you're overworked. Hopefully this will give you a couple of minutes of a break. Don't overdo yourself. Cherie, I don't know if you saw or heard, but Catnet was in the chat. I don't know if she still is, but she stopped into the chat to say hello. So I thought you would want to know that. And if she's still here, you would definitely want to say hello to her. So anyway, there's just so much about this second trial. And Rick, I didn't know you didn't watch the first trial. So yeah, anyway, when I had I'm not going to lie, I had a really hard time trying to be objective and open-minded watching the second trial because I did watch the entire first trial. But when I watched the first trial, I also felt she was not guilty, but I didn't know anything about her case. I didn't know anything about the case at all, other than, on my YouTube, on my stream, on my pages that would pop up on YouTube for recommendations or whatever, I would see this, girlfriend kills cop, whatever it was, whatever the headlines would be. And so other than just seeing thumbnails and descriptions or, titles of different videos, I knew nothing about the Karen Read case at all. And somehow, right the day that the trial started, I started watching it with, I think I started watching it with Emily D. Baker, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, and then I kind of jumped around to different YouTubers, law tubers who were showing the trial. But at any rate, I was like, by the time, there was no doubt in my mind, by the time that the defense got through their case in chief in the first trial, I was like, this lady's guilty. I mean, there's so much, and I was basing it on reasonable doubt. I'm like, there's just, to me, so much reasonable doubt. And I felt kind of like a what do they call it, 13th juror, because I didn't know. I went in completely blind to the case. So, it was, I felt like I was kind of like I was a juror. So anyway, but yeah, I do definitely want to try to get together with Rick and Cherie, if she's able to, throughout the week, and try to put together some clips, and kind of like what Larry did, or DUI guy did, put some things maybe side by side, or just whatever, just some things that I can think of. And please, if anybody has any suggestions or ideas that you'd like for us to talk about regarding the Karen Read trial, please let us know in Discord, or definitely focus, or here in the comment section here on this video. Or I think you can go to my community tab. I need to check my settings and see if I have it set that way, but I guess now in YouTube, you can go to anybody's YouTube page if they have the setting correctly, and just put in make your own comment. I guess. I don't really know for sure how it works. I'll have to look into that. But at any rate, leave us a comment here or somewhere in Discord. Let us know, if there's something specific you'd like us to talk about or show, when we have a more involved conversation next week about the Karen Reed trial, because it's definitely worth talking about. I'm just grateful that we are not having to talk about this as another wrongful conviction,
Yeah.
which is,
Well, I still
yeah.
think there was a wrongful conviction in it.
Well, yeah. I mean, it
To
certainly
the best of my knowledge, and I never saw evidence of it entered in the second trial, did they ever do a breathalyzer or a blood
no.
toxicology for alcohol
They
level? So
they
how
did.
could they prove that she was under the influence?
Well, they did. They did do the test the morning that that he was killed, when her father called and said he was worried she was going to take her life, and they took her to the hospital on we call it a 72-hour hold, but or California would be a 5150 hold. A
Baker
psych
Act.
hold, I guess. Baker
It
Act, yeah.
has different names in different states.
Yeah. So they did take her in. I think they held her for about 4 hours, and extrapolation, yes. They did do the blood. However, there's a lot of questions about it, because and she was over the legal limit. I can't remember how much, but she was, based on what they did, the testing they did, she was over the legal limit. But they had no way of knowing when she took her last drink,
Yep.
so it just seemed like an unfair. And did they not talk about it? They did talk about it in the second trial, didn't they? But not as, I think they had the toxicology earlier on.
I never heard anything about the tox report in
I'll
the
have
second
to.
trial. Now,
I'll have
I
to,
may
well,
have just missed it,
yeah,
but
yeah. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I agree, Ralph. I think if it had only been the DUI, it would have been thrown out. And Rick, that's why the question came up from the jury about what time were they counting her to have, what time were they referring to her having been DUI? We call it DUI here, OUI, I guess there.
OUI in Massachusetts, yeah.
Yeah. But the jury asked, are you talking about 12:32 a.m. or are you talking about 5:30 whatever time they found John, 37 a.m. Because if it was about, I mean, I wish I could remember what they said in trial. Her maybe one of you in chat can remember. Let's see. Cherie says they said it was estimated between 14 and 28. I'm not. First of all, the testing that they did is not, I guess, thought to be completely accurate or something. It's been a while since I listened to that testimony, so I really shouldn't say, but I mean, if she had drank, when she got home, or when she woke up and John wasn't there in the morning at 4 o'clock or whatever, and he wasn't there, and she started, pounding back the vodkas or whatever, I could see a higher test reading. And that was with the extrapolation.
I can tell you from a medical standpoint, 0.28 is at the low end of alcohol poisoning and fatal.
Right. That's what I was thinking. So it just, I feel like there wasn't really a lot of accuracy to the testing, but I can't remember because it's been a minute since we watched that. Ralph says, I think the foreman said that was the reason they told Bev they have a verdict and then took it back. Someone didn't want to convict on the DUI charge. Yeah, could be. Juror 11 talked about that. Now that I can't remember what she said. Um, so much information in the last 72 hours. It's just been insane. But yeah, so anyway, just maybe you'll have to go back to the earlier first couple of weeks of the trial, Rick. But I know that's I know there was some testimony about it, but it wasn't as much testimony, it seems like, in the second trial as there was in the first trial. So I don't know. It was so yeah, those are just some of the things. Or I mean, if there's something else that you want us to discuss, when we come back next week for a longer, deeper, little bit of a deeper dive into the Karen Read trial. Again, like I said, just drop a comment here after the video, or let us know over in Discord. You can put it probably just, I don't know, you can put it anywhere and tag one of us in Discord, or, to let us know if there's something else that you're unclear on, you're not sure about, you didn't understand, or that you just want us to talk about and then laugh about with you, because there were some comical moments. The ham sandwich, Dr. Rentschler was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I had a ham sandwich, damn it. So,
one thing we should mention, because I don't think we've mentioned it on a stream. Our death row guy.
Oh yes! Oh, thank you. Yes. Richard Glossop.
Glossop. The prosecutors have decided they will not seek the death penalty in his third trial.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the AG said,
which is a huge win.
Huge win. Yeah, definitely. I don't know if, let me get the article back up that I had. I had the AP article that I found that day. Let me see if I can share that over here. Does everybody in the chat know about the Glossop? Let me just pull this up.
I'm trying to remember where you put it at in the Discord. I put the link.
It's in Richard Glossop's room.
There we go. I got it.
You got it? Okay. Yeah, thank you for reminding me. That was one of the things I wanted to talk about today and just completely forgot. Nancy says, Turtle Boy's hearings are interesting, and I think we will hear some interesting info that intertwines with Karen Read case. His next hearing is July 3rd, I believe. Yeah, man, whatever. That's just, that whole thing with Turtle Boy, we can all say what we want, love him, hate him, whatever, but his freaking, all that shit they pulled on him, to me, was just insane and outrageous. So it is a win for Richard. Yes, it is a win for Richard, because now he's not facing the death penalty. I just disagree. I feel like we kind of got hoodwinked, or whatever you want to call it, by what's his name, Gettner Drummond, the AG, because he seemed to have a different opinion. I don't know that he ever came out and said, I think Richard Glossop's innocent and I think that this case should, I don't think he ever said that, but for whatever reasons, I felt for whatever reasons that he was in favor of, I don't know, I guess I didn't feel like he was in favor of maybe a new trial, but I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I got Drummond.
And I got the same feeling. I really don't think even to this day he's in favor of it. I think it's I'm not sure exactly how the procedures work in the state of Oklahoma with appeals. but I think his hands might be kind of tied because the appellate court sent it back for retrial. I can't
Yeah.
remember exactly how their order was written, but I think his hands might be kind of tied, and his concession is, okay, chances are we're going to lose this one, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to take this off the table because those
Yeah.
types of cases cost the state a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yes. Uh, and when I say that to people, and there are statistics just to prove this, um, but it costs a lot more money to actually have somebody on death row than it is to keep somebody in prison for life without the possibility of parole. So,
Well,
but yeah,
even
there's
the trial itself costs
the
more
trial,
to conduct.
right? Yeah, because they have to have it just takes a lot more investigation, basically. I can't think of the word I'm trying to use, or that I want to use. But yeah,
Well,
it does. It
in
costs a lot
most
more
states
because
nowadays, there's actually 2 trials that go on. There's the conviction trial, and then there's the penalty trial.
the penalty
I mean,
phase. Yeah,
they fall under the same trial, but they're essentially 2 different trials, for want of a
trials.
better
Right,
word.
right. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, I know that it was that way for Chad Daybell in Idaho,
Mhm.
and because his was a death penalty case as well, and so yeah, the penalty phase. And I don't know what they do in Oklahoma. Actually, I don't know that I've ever researched that, I guess, but I would imagine they also have a penalty phase. I hope. I mean, I don't know. I have thoughts about that system in Oklahoma, but I like to think that there's well, and I guess I just kind of had a little back and forth with a few people on uh, the lawyer, Peter Trago's channel. He talked about I was, and I don't really comment any. I didn't watch it live, but I made a comment in the comment section talking about the most recent hearing for Koberger, and because his case is being tried in Idaho as well, and so I think that's a death penalty case. Well, I'm sure it's a death penalty case, but I made a comment on Lawyer Knows most recent video on it, and I just said I was sick and tired. I said I'm sick and tired of this because Ann Taylor, the defense attorney, she keeps they keep having these hearings where she just goes on and on and on about all of the same things that she's been going on and on and on about for what 2 years now,
Mhm.
and trying to get a continuance on the case. And I'm like, come on, I get it. And so I said, I'm sick and tired of the whining about the same damn things every. And one lady or person, I'm assuming it was a lady by the name, but just remember your comment when something like this happens to one of your family members or one of your kids or blah blah. And I was like, listen, bitch, I didn't say that, but I just went back on it like, you have no idea who I am, what I know, what my family's been through, anyway, I just went off on this, not disrespectful, but I just said, basically, I know
You're
what
an
I'm
idiot.
talking about. Yeah, yeah. I'm not stupid. I know what my comment sounded like and what I meant it to be. And I meant it to be exactly what it sounded like. It's ridiculous. And I get it. That's what it was. They were commenting to me about due process. Well, due process is a constitutional right. I fucking know that. Don't talk to me about due process. I understand due process and I understand the laws and I understand. But when you keep trying to continue a trial that you've been trying to continue for 2 years now for the same exact reasons, and now, of course, she's adding on all these other things about You know, the book deals that are coming, and you know, even more documentaries that are coming out, something about something coming up on Amazon Prime or whatever. And I'm like, the longer you continue this trial, the worse all of that is going to get, and the harder it's going to be for her to find her perfect jury. It's just not going to happen. He's had over a year of due process.
I like the fact that she, I think you said you thought she was a she. I love the fact that she is telling somebody who specializes in wrongful convictions they don't understand due process.
But yeah, I just was like, come on, man, you have no idea who you're talking to. And I didn't want to say.
That's like somebody posting to a doctor who made a comment about something in Twitter, you don't understand biology.
Right. Yeah. Oh, let's see. This person has her name's, this person's commented back. So I'm just gonna pull up the comment section really quick and share it with you guys, in case anybody's interested. Even if you're not, I'm gonna show it anyway. Because it was really, I just want to be completely honest about what was said and what I said and everything else. So let's see here. Let's see. Let me share my screen. It really does bug me when people just assume that I don't know what I'm talking about, and maybe for them I don't, but I know. I don't have all the knowledge, but I know what I'm fucking talking about. Okay, can you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me make this a little bigger. Okay, so this was my original comment. I said, personally, I'm tired of the defense whining about the same damn things every single hearing. This is ridiculous. 13 people gave me a thumbs up, or I mean 32, so you know, 13 people agree with me. So then I don't know what this was all about. Were you one of the people who thought Karen Read was guilty? I thought I saw you in a chat, being like FKR. I never chatted during the trial in Lawyer You Know's thing, to my knowledge, and if I did, I don't think I've ever used the FKR acronym before, but whatever. And then I don't know what this person meant. They'll be fun to watch throughout the trial. I have no idea what that's about. These are all comments on my comment. Rick Grimm says, due process is a constitutional right. Describing the defense whining seems inappropriate. Oh my God. Everyone would like justice, and all Americans deserve due process. It's due process when being charged with a crime. It's important to keep perspective regardless of who the defendant is. It's not the most important thing to get a conviction. It's more important to convict the right person, and due process ensures we do the best we can. Listen, asshole, you're preaching to the choir, buddy. I shouldn't have said that. I'm so sorry. You're preaching to the choir. You don't know. Deanne Dempsey said, at Rick, I do not, and this is how I don't know if he's guilty or not. I really don't. I haven't paid that much attention to his case. But this person, I don't know if he's guilty or not. What I do know is that every time a new video comes out, the headlines are the defense always complaining about something, especially since the new judge took over. And yeah, I agree with that. This person said, maybe the prosecution should do their jobs then. I don't, what are they not doing? I don't know. Maybe they should. I don't know what they're not doing. So whatever. I responded back to the Cyan person, I believe Karen Read was not guilty. And then I said to Rick Grimm, I 100% believe everyone should have due process. Of course. I don't feel my comment was inappropriate at all. The defense has been saying all the same things for over a year now. At what point do they finally say, Okay, Your Honor, the defense is ready to proceed. I don't have an opinion on whether the defendant is guilty or not guilty. I want to watch this trial, see and hear the evidence. At some point, though, the defense has to stop repeating the same issues over and over and dig in their heels, do their job, and continue to fight for their client. Then I will make up my mind as to guilt or innocence. And then I responded to the person who said the defense should do their jobs. Exactly, but can you define exactly what more the prosecution needs to do? Because I don't know. James Carson said, "Hey, I see you in several other LawTube chats, just saying hello." And then this is why I think it was a woman. This was the best one here. Remember that comment when you or your child is unjustly accused of something with the death penalty attached. So here I go. Now I was pissed, not pissed, but like annoyed. So I said, Carol, with all due respect, you have no idea what I know about the law, due process, trials, wrongful convictions, or the death penalty. You have no idea what I or any of my family members have gone through with crimes, due process, trials, and any prison time. I don't believe my comment is in any way inappropriate or even wrong. I have no idea if Kohberger is guilty of anything. Believe me, I want him to have his due process. The last thing we need is another wrongful conviction. So it's not very thoughtful of you or anyone else to make me sound like an insensitive, uneducated person. I know what I'm talking about. My point is, Kohberger has had how many years of due process? And Taylor continues to say the same things repeatedly. As far as I'm concerned, continuing to seek continuances is not going to help Brian Kohberger. The longer the trial gets put off, the more information is going to be talked about all over. To wait around until more people see documentaries or MSM reports or read books, the more difficult it's going to be to find her perfect jury. Clearly, Ann Taylor doesn't trust the system, nor does she have faith in any jury. And then let's see, I haven't read this. Miss Carol responded and said, just Rhonda, as said, commented with all due respect because I don't know anything about you. No slight of anyone was intended. Yeah, I thought that's what you said. Because, like, come on, man. It really did bug me. So, good for her. I'll respond to that later. I'll just leave it up there so I don't forget. But anyway, I just was like, man, you know what? So, I mean, this is something I'll talk about in a different format, in a different place, at a different time. But I know about crimes and the law and trials and due process. Both of my brothers had trials and went to prison. They both asked for speedy trials, if I'm not mistaken. But it's been like since, 96 or 97 that happened. But at any rate, I know about that stuff on a personal level. Plus, I've had a couple of my own children, not Eric in the chat, but a couple of my own children who have been to jail and, not gone to trials, but have had hearings and plea deals and stuff like that. And they've been to jail. So I get it. I understand. And before I ever started before I knew anything about Daniel Holtzclaw, Cherie and I both were involved in a community regarding wrongful convictions that we believe fully are wrongful convictions of Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey in Wisconsin. So, probably a good 10 years now, I've been like doing some pretty deep research into, crimes and trials and, due process. Not only that, I didn't say this to Miss Carol over on the channel thing over there, but I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I didn't want to like throw, and it's no big deal. Honestly, it's no big deal. But, so yeah, you kind of have to be careful when you go making a comment like, wait till it's one of your kids, because none of my kids have gone to a trial or had a death penalty thing, but I've been through due process and stuff like that. So anyway, I got all twisted about it. Anyway,
Squirrel.
go ahead.
I said squirrel.
Thank you. Absolutely, squirrel. Let's get back to these better comments in the chat than me listening or talking, listening to myself talk. Shaz says, yes, Richard definitely has a chance at a new trial. And well, we won't be able to watch it because they don't show their trials. They don't stream their trials in Oklahoma, but whatever. We'll definitely keep up on it when that happens for sure. Probably will. We'll probably do some sort of regular daily update once that trial
Oh, for sure.
begins.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah, we'll definitely do a daily updates every day. The other thing is, what was I going to say about it? I can't remember now. Anyway, it'll come back to me, I'm sure. So yeah, I know what I was going to say. I personally think that, Vicky Bahena is the DA now, and I don't know that I with all this other stuff that I think I do know about the law and stuff, I'm not sure if she is able to say, no, we're not going to prosecute this again or not. I would think it's up to, well, now I guess like you said though, Rick, if that's what the Supreme Court handed down, then
well, but I don't know what type of discretion a prosecutor has in Florida for a case that's remanded back for retrial.
Oklahoma.
Or Oklahoma. Yeah, I don't know what discretion they have.
We'll have to do some research on that and find out. Personally, if she's able to, if she does have any discretion over it, I would like to see her just say, time served, kick him out, because this is, he's basically served almost a life sentence for a crime I believe he didn't commit to begin with. So,
well, I'm positive he didn't commit it.
Yeah, me too, for sure. Let's see. Yes, Brian Koberger is death penalty for sure. And Chaz says, agree, Rhonda, she hasn't changed. I said the exact same thing on another channel. I stopped watching. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So you're familiar with that person. Okay. The judge said, or prosecutor said the same. It's wrong change because it was such a massive murder case. Oh, it won't change because it was such a yeah. Gotcha. My son, who sometimes when he comes over, he gets stuck talking, listening, waiting for me to stop talking. But welcome to YouTube and uneducated people for sure. For sure. Yes, of course, my son. And Jennifer, thank you so much for the $5 dono. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for stopping by and for leaving us a little tip. Thank you so much. And Jennifer has been a member for 6 months. Great to have you here for 6 months, Jennifer. I appreciate you very much. And TJ is lurking. Hey, TJ, it's great to see you again. Happy to have you here. And let's see. Okay, all right. So yes, so Richard Glossop getting a new trial. We don't know when. We will keep up with that. I know that Under Your Scars is also very in tune with the Richard Glossop case as well. So I'm sure that between, all of us here and Under Your Scars, we will be able to. I'll start looking around though to see if we can find some information on the trial. I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, how long are they going to make him wait before they set a new trial date? It's Oklahoma.
Well,
So,
yeah, it's Oklahoma.
so okay. I think I think that's kind of all I really needed to discuss, and a little bit more than what I had planned, but that's okay. But I wanted to make an announcement to everybody, a little personal announcement, and that I have to do something really quick. I thought I was ready, but I'm not. Wasn't planning to do a live today, but Jennifer, bless her heart, was asked me if I was going to do anything, and I said, "Oh, I don't know, maybe." And then I just thought, you know what, I need to say something. I made the post that I did earlier, and then just kind of left it up in the air about when I was going to do something. But when Jennifer mentioned that to me, I was like, you know what, I need to say something. It's been a few weeks, and we need to hop on and have some conversations about a couple little different things. So what I want to do is, sorry, I'm like trying to jump between a couple of different what are they called, browsers? Yeah.
Yes, that's what they're called.
Thank you. And so let me see. So I'm trying to figure out how to make all of this work. I'm getting there though. Hold on. Okay. Okay, I have been talking about this for quite some time, and I can't remember what it was, but something occurred this last week, and I just thought, you know what, I just have to pull the trigger on this and just get it done. So this is what my announcement is. I'm going to share something with you. Drum roll, please. Just kidding. Okay. So I finally did it. I have finally got my second. Finally got my second channel set up, and there's the link to it in the chat. And I'll just open that up and read to you what this is going to be about, so that everybody is aware of what this is going to be. Welcome to my unfiltered corner of YouTube. This is where I share my raw thoughts, personal stories, and unapologetic opinions on anything and everything, from family secrets, health struggles, life's highs and lows, and the occasional deep dive into high-profile trials that spark conversation. No topic is off limits, and no filter is needed. Join me for live streams, real talk, and a journey through my messy, beautiful, chaotic life. Subscribe and let's get real together. So that is at least a start of what the channel will look like. And I mean, there's other things that I would like to do, and to to make it all complete and everything. It's going to take some time, but I have to do the intro video and all those fun things. So at the very least, though, do me a favor and jump over there. I gave you the link. Jump over there and hit the subscribe button. There's not
Already
going to be,
did.
and I know you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. There's not going to be like a schedule for this. This is going to be just very random. I should have put random Gemini instead of sassy Gemini. But this is just going to be whenever something strikes me in a certain way, I'm just going to, I don't know if I'll schedule a live stream or if I'll just hit the live button on YouTube and go live. I don't know. It's exactly what it is, what the description says. Just, these are just going to be random videos, random talk, random thoughts, and with a lot of sassiness, because I am very sassy in my old age. I'm only 63. I'm not old, but at any rate. So, I just feel like I've been talking about it for over a year, and I just thought I need to quit talking about it and just do it. So, some of the conversations that we've had here about some of the details about the Karen Reed trial and different things like that, we'll probably, those kinds of things will probably ultimately, eventually, the only thing that we'll probably talk about on the Just Rhonda channel is going to be about Daniel's case. TJ says, you have me at no filter. Good. That way, because I would like it to just be about Daniel. That's the way it started. And, whether or not it gets any more traction than it already has, I feel like I can live with that, because we're already, 200 and almost 300 subs farther ahead now than we were 6 months ago. So, over time, though, of course, we want to get more people interested. But a big part of this channel now has become I can't say the word memorializing. Is that the right way to say it?
That's
To
the correct way.
memorialize? Okay.
Yes.
The trial, basically, from reading police reports, pre-trial transcripts, and trial transcripts. And I want to get that as streamlined to that particular topic the best we can. And Jenny, when I had communication with her last week, told me how appreciative she is of that, and that she wants us to keep going, keep doing that, keep doing what we're doing with Daniel's, with the trial and the transcripts and everything. So that is the goal for this channel, which kind of brings me to the next point. Richard and Davey, who had been helping us read transcripts before, these guys are insanely busy. I wouldn't even feel good about asking them to help us at this point, because they both have full-time jobs and families, and then they're also doing their own podcast 5-6 days a week. So they're very, very busy. That isn't to say that Rick's not busy or that Cherie is not busy. Jennifer is still interested in reading with us. And I won't name the name in the chat, but somebody in the chat said that they are willing to also help read and record transcripts. So I do have a few people, and listen, we can do it with just 3 or 4 people. We can do it because we've done it before. So it's not like it can't be done. but I definitely want to make sure that we're doing the very best that we can. Getting these trial transcripts read. So that's still going to happen, but it's just going to take a little more time to get it organized and get folks who are like able to. I don't like to say this word, but able to commit to reading and recording, because it's going to be a very it'll keep me busy for sure, 7 days a week with editing. So again, I'll put it out there. If you are interested, not counting the one person who has already said that they would, if you are interested in reading any parts of whether it's helping read police reports, or pre-trial transcripts or trial transcripts, just leave a comment here after this video, or drop a note in Discord and let us know. I didn't do any links or anything in the description, so let me grab the link for Discord. And I don't know why I have to do this every single time. There might be a link in somewhere in the front of the channel here, but just in case, here's a link for the Discord. And so either way, or if you happen to have my phone number or email address or anything like that, you can email me. The email address for this channel is in the About section. So anyway, I think that's all I want to. I think that's enough. It's more than, of course, it's always more than I wanted to do, but but it was interesting having some conversation about Karen Read and actually being able to verbalize some thoughts and feelings about it for the first time, because everything else has just been comments in chat where nobody can hear you. So Rick, do you have any final comments, or?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Well, if there are no other, there's nothing else that we need to discuss or talk about right now, we can let you go. Watch out for the first. I don't know. I have no idea when it's going to happen, but just when you least expect it, there could be a video or live stream popping up on my new channel, Sassy Gemini, on YouTube. Go over and subscribe. The link is in the chat, and I'll probably add the link to to Sassy Gemini in the Just Rhonda chat or links as well, so that you can be found there. But I think until next time, peace out.